Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
An indefinitely short time. In just a bit. A small fragment. A small amount of solid food, a mouthful. All they had left was a bit of bread. A small piece or quantity of something. A bit of paper. A short performance that is part of a longer program. A small fragment of something broken off from the whole. A bit of rock caught him in the eye. An instance of some kind. He had a bit of good luck. A unit of measurement of information, from binary plus digit, the amount of information in a system having two equiprobable states. There are 8 bits in a byte. Piece of metal held in horse's mouth by reins and used to control the horse while riding. The horse was not accustomed to a bit. The cutting part of a drill, usually pointed and threaded and is replaceable in a brace or bitstock or drill press. He looked around for the right size bit. The part of a key that enters a lock and lifts the tumblers. An indefinitely short time. It only takes a minute. Infinitely or immeasurably small. 2-minute whip-like threads of protoplasm. A particular point in time. A unit of time equal to 60 seconds or 1/60th of an hour. He ran a 4-minute mile. Distance measured by the time taken to cover it. It's just 10 minutes away. Characterized by painstaking care and detailed examination. A minute inspection of the grounds. A unit of angular distance equal to a 60th of a degree. A short note. The secretary keeps the minutes of the meeting. An indefinitely short time. Wait just a moment. A Midwestern state in central United States, a border state during the American Civil War, Missouri was admitted to the Confederacy without actually seceding from the Union. A polyvalent metallic element that resembles chromium and tungsten in its properties, used to strengthen and harden steel. Having important effects or influence. Virtue is of more moment than security. An indefinitely short time. Wait just a moment. A particular point in time. The moment he arrived, the party began. At this time. She is studying at the moment. A turning force produced by an object acting at a distance, or a measure of that force. The nth moment of a distribution is the expected value of the nth power of the deviations from a fixed value. An indefinitely short time. A 60th part of a minute of arc. The treasure is 2 minutes and 45 seconds south of here. A particular point in time. Merchandise that has imperfections, usually sold at a reduced price without the brand name. A speech seconding a motion. Do I hear a second? Give support or one's approval to. I'll second that motion. 1/60th of a minute, the basic unit of time adopted under the System A International Dunites. Coming next after the first in position in space or time or degree or magnitude. The gear that has the second lowest forward gear ratio in the gearbox of a motor vehicle. He had to shift down into second to make the hill. In the second place. Second, we must consider the economy. The fielding position of the player on a baseball team who is stationed near the second of the bases in the infield. A part or voice or instrument or orchestra section lower in pitch than or subordinate to the first. Second flute. Following the first in an ordering or series. He came in a close second. The official attendant of a contestant in a duel or boxing match. Transfer an employee to a different, temporary assignment. The officer was seconded for duty overseas. A small fragment. Overheard snatches of their conversation. The act of catching an object with the hands. Martin's snatch at the bridle failed and the horse raced away. Law. The unlawful act of capturing and carrying away a person against their will and holding them in false imprisonment. To grasp hastily or eagerly. Before I could stop him, the dog snatched the ham bone. Take away to an undisclosed location against their will and usually in order to extract a ransom. Obscene terms for female genitals. A weight lift in which the barbell is lifted overhead in one rapid motion. To make grasping motions. The cat snatched at the butterflies. A painful wound caused by the thrust of an insect stinger into skin. A small amount of solid food, a mouthful. Wit having a sharp and caustic quality. The bite of satire. A light informal meal. A strong odor or taste property. The sulfurous bite of garlic. The act of gripping or chewing off with the teeth and jaws. Deliver a sting to. To grip, cut off, or tear with or as if with the teeth or jaws. Gunny invariably tried to bite her. Cause a sharp or stinging pain or discomfort. Angling. An instance of a fish taking the bait. After fishing for an hour he still had not had a bite. A portion removed from the whole. The government's weekly bite from my paycheck. A wound resulting from biting by an animal or a person. Penetrate or cut, as with a knife. A small amount of solid food, a mouthful. A small quantity of anything. A morsel of paper was all he needed. A job in an organization. An act that brings discredit to the person who does it. A small contrasting part of something. A bald spot. A lamp that produces a strong beam of light to illuminate a restricted area. Used to focus attention of a stage performer. A point located with respect to surface features of some region. A bright spot on a planet. A mark on a die or on a playing card, shape depending on the suit. An outstanding characteristic. A small piece or quantity of something. A spot of tea. A slight attack of illness. Detect with the senses. A blemish made by dirt. Make a spot or mark onto. The wine spotted the tablecloth. Catch sight of. Mar or impair with a flaw. A business establishment for entertainment. Night spot. A playing card with a specified number of pips on it to indicate its value. An 8 spot. A section of an entertainment that is assigned to a specific performer or performance. They changed his spot on the program. A short section or illustration, as between radio or TV programs or in a magazine, that is often used for advertising. Become spotted. This dress spots quickly. Mark with a spot or spots so as to allow easy recognition. Spot the areas that one should clearly identify. Pretend to have certain qualities or state of mind. He acted the idiot. Behave unnaturally or affectedly. She's just acting. Something that people do or cause to happen. A legal document codifying the result of deliberations of a committee or society or legislative body. Perform an action, or work out or perform an action. Think before you act. A short performance that is part of a longer program. He did his act 3 times every evening. Perform on a stage or theater. She acts in this play. Have an effect or outcome, often the one desired or expected. How does your idea work in practice? Behave in a certain manner. Show a certain behavior, conduct or comport oneself. You should act like an adult. Play a role or part. She wants to act Lady Macbeth, but she is too young for the role. A manifestation of insincerity. He put on quite an act for her benefit. A subdivision of a play or opera or ballet. Be engaged in an activity, often for no particular purpose other than pleasure. Be suitable for theatrical performance. This scene acts well. Discharge one's duties. She acts as the chair. Put into a group. Determine the number or amount of. One of a series published periodically. The property possessed by a sum or total or indefinite quantity of units or individuals. The number of parameters is small. The number is used in calling a particular telephone. He has an unlisted number. Add up in number or quantity. A short performance that is part of a longer program. It was one of the best numbers he ever did. A symbol used to represent a number. Place a limit on the number of. Enumerate. We must number the names of the great mathematicians. A clothing measurement. A number 13 shoe. A concept of quantity involving zero and units. Every number has a unique position in the sequence. An item of clothing. She preferred the black nylon number. A numbered item in a series. Take the number 2 to the main square, then change to the number 5. A numeral or string of numerals that is used for identification and may be attached to accounts, memberships, etc. She refused to give them her social security number. A select company of people. I hope to become one of their number before I die. Give numbers to. You should number the pages of the thesis. The grammatical category for the forms of nouns and pronouns and verbs that are used depending on the number of entities involved, singular or dual or plural. In English, the subject and the verb must agree in number. A short performance that is part of a longer program. She had a catchy little routine. A set sequence of steps, part of larger computer program. An unvarying or habitual method or procedure. Found in the ordinary course of events. It was a routine day. To break and turn over earth, especially with a plow. Turn the earth in the spring. Twist suddenly so as to sprain. I turned my ankle and couldn't walk for several days. Pass into a condition gradually, take on a specific property or attribute, become. The weather turned nasty. Cause to move around a center so as to show another side of. Turn a page of a book. Undergo a change or development. The water turned into ice. Let something fall or spill from a container. Turn the flour onto a plate. Cause a plastic object, to assume a crooked or angular form. The strong man could turn an iron bar. Undergo a transformation or a change of position or action. We turned from socialism to capitalism. Pass to the other side of. Turn the corner. Have recourse to or make an appeal or request for help or information to. She turned to her relatives for help. Turning or twisting around, in place. A favor for someone. He did me a good turn. Change to the contrary. The tides turned against him. Game. The activity of doing something in an agreed succession. It is my turn. A short performance that is part of a longer program. A circular segment of a curve. Sports. A division during which one team is on the offensive. A time period for working, after which you will be relieved by someone else. A movement in a new direction. The turning of the wind. An unforeseen development. Events suddenly took an awkward turn. The act of changing or reversing the direction of the course. He took a turn to the right. Go sour or spoil. The cream has turned, we have to throw it out. Accomplish by rotating. Turn a somersault. Alter the functioning or setting of. Turn the dial to 10. Become officially 1 year older. She is turning 50 this year. Cause to change or turn into something different. Assume new characteristics. The princess turned the frog into a prince by kissing him. Cause to move along an axis or into a new direction. Turn your face to the wall. Cause to move around or rotate. Turn a key. Change color. In Vermont, the leaves turn early. Change orientation or direction, also in the abstract sense. The mugger turned and fled before I could see his face. Channel one's attention, interest, thought, or attention toward or away from something. The pedophile turned to boys for satisfaction. Direct at someone. She turned a smile on me. Get by buying and selling. The company turned a good profit after a year. Move around an axis or a center. The wheels are turning. Shape by rotating on a lathe or cutting device or a wheel. Turn the legs of the table. Taking a short walk out and back. We took a turn in the park. The act of turning away or in the opposite direction. He made an abrupt turn away from her. To send or let go. They turned away the crowd at the gate of the governor's mansion. The act of chipping something. A small disc-shaped counter used to represent money when gambling. Electronic equipment consisting of a small crystal of a silicon semiconductor fabricated to carry out a number of electronic functions in an integrated circuit. A mark left after a small piece has been chopped or broken off of something. Golf. A low-running approach shot. A piece of dried bovine dung. Break off. A piece from a hole. Her tooth chipped. A thin crisp slice of potato fried in deep fat. Cut a nick into. A small fragment of something broken off from the hole. Break a small piece off from. Chip the glass. A triangular wooden float attached to the end of a log line. Form by chipping. They chipped their names in the stone. Play a chip shot. A crystal of snow. Come off in flakes or thin small pieces. A small fragment of something broken off from the whole. A person with an unusual or odd personality. Cover with flakes or as if with flakes. Form into flakes. The substances started to flake. A small contrasting part of something. A fleck of red. Make a spot or mark onto. A small fragment of something broken off from the whole. Worthless material that is to be disposed of. Dispose of, something useless or old. Scrap your old computer. A small fragment of something broken off from the whole. The act of fighting, any contest or struggle. The unhappy couple got into a terrible scrap. Have a disagreement over something. These two fellows are always scrapping over something. A small piece of something that is left over after the rest has been used. She jotted it on a scrap of paper. Make into scrap or refuse. Scrap the old airplane and sell the parts. Repair by adding pieces. She pieced the china cup. A portion of a natural object. He needed a piece of granite. Eat intermittently. Take small bites of. He pieced at the sandwich all morning. An item that is an instance of some type. He designed a new piece of equipment. A share of something. A period of indeterminate length, usually short, marked by some action or condition. I need to rest for a piece. A musical work that has been created. A work of art of some artistic value. It is not known who created this piece. An instance of some kind. It was a nice piece of work. Create by putting components or members together. She pieced a quilt. A portable gun. Game equipment consisting of an object used in playing certain board games. He sacrificed a piece to get a strategic advantage. To join or unite the pieces of. A serving that has been cut from a larger portion. A piece of pie. A distance. It is down the road a piece. An artistic or literary composition. He wrote an interesting piece on Iran. A separate part of a whole. An important piece of the evidence. Join during spinning. Piece the broken pieces of thread, slivers, and rovings. A reading of a point in time is given by a clock. Do you know what time it is? Rhythm is given by division into parts of equal duration. An instance or single occasion for some event. This time he succeeded. The period of time a prisoner is imprisoned. He is doing time in the county jail. Measure the time or duration of an event or action or the person who performs an action in a certain period of time. The fourth coordinate that is required, along with 3 spatial dimensions, to specify a physical event. Adjust so that a force is applied and an action occurs at the desired time. The good player times his swing so as to hit the ball squarely. An indefinite period, usually marked by specific attributes or activities. The time of year for planting. A period of time considered as a resource under your control and sufficient to accomplish something. Take time to smell the roses. A person's experience on a particular occasion. He had a time holding back the tears. Assign a time for an activity or event. The candidate carefully timed his appearance at the disaster scene. A suitable moment. It is time to go. Regulate or set the time of. Time the clock. Set the speed, duration, or execution of. We time the process to manufacture our cars very precisely. The continuum of experience in which events pass from the future through the present to the past. He waited for a long time. Break or cause to break into pieces. The plate fragmented. A broken piece of a brittle artifact. An incomplete piece. Fragments of a play. A piece broken off or cut off of something else. A fragment of rock. A strong liking. The faculty of distinguishing sweet, sour, bitter, and salty properties in the mouth. His cold deprived him of his sense of taste. A small amount eaten or drunk. Take a taste, you'll like it. Take a sample of. The sensation that results when taste buds in the tongue and throat convey information about the chemical composition of a soluble stimulus. The candy left him with a bad taste. Delicate discrimination, especially of aesthetic values. Arrogance and lack of taste contributed to his rapid success. Have a distinctive or characteristic taste. This tastes of nutmeg. Have flavor. Taste of something. A kind of sensing. Distinguishing substances by means of the taste buds. A brief experience of something. He got a taste of life on the wild side. Distinguish flavors. We tasted wines last night. Experience briefly. The ex-slave tasted freedom shortly before she died. Perceive by the sense of taste. Can you taste the garlic? A small amount eaten or drunk. The quantity that can be held in the mouth. An indefinite quantity that is below average size or magnitude. An indefinite quantity that is below average size or magnitude. A dramatic or musical entertainment. They listened to 10 different performances. Process or manner of functioning or operating. They compared the cooking performance of each oven. The act of performing, of doing something successfully, using knowledge as distinguished from merely possessing it. They criticized his performance as mayor. Any recognized accomplishment. They admired his performance under stress. The act of presenting a play or a piece of music or other entertainment. We congratulated him on his performance at the rehearsal. A dramatic or musical entertainment. A specific size and style of type within a type family. An enveloping structure or covering enclosing an animal or plant organ or part. The enclosing frame around a door or window opening. A person of a specified kind, usually with many eccentricities. A mental case. Printing. The receptacle in which a compositor has his type, which is divided into compartments for the different letters, spaces, or numbers. For English, a compositor will ordinarily have two such cases, the uppercase containing the capitals and the lowercase containing the small letters. The quantity contained in a case. The housing or outer covering of something. The clock has a walnut case. Bed linen consisting of a cover for a pillow. The burglar carried his loot in a pillowcase. A special set of circumstances. It may rain, in which case the picnic will be cancelled. An occurrence of something. It was a case of bad judgment. Enclose in, or as if in, a case. My feet were encased in mud. Nouns or pronouns or adjectives, often marked by inflection, related in some way to other words in a sentence. A comprehensive term for any proceeding in a court of law whereby an individual seeks a legal remedy. A person who is subjected to experimental or other observational procedures. Someone who is an object of investigation. The cases that we studied were drawn from two different communities. A glass container used to store and display items in a shop or museum or home. A person requiring professional services. A typical case was the suburban housewife described by a marriage counselor. A portable container for carrying several objects. The musicians left their instrument cases backstage. A problem requiring investigation. Perry Mason solved the case of the missing heir. A specific state of mind that is temporary. A case of the jitters. A statement of facts and reasons used to support an argument. He stated his case clearly. Look over, usually with the intention to rob. They men cased the house. The actual state of things. That was not the case. A representative form or pattern. I profited from his example. Something to be imitated. An occurrence of something. But there is always the famous example of the Smiths. An item of information that is typical of a class or group. This patient provides a typical example of the syndrome. Punishment intended as a warning to others. They decided to make an example of him. A task performed or problem solved in order to develop skill or understanding. You must work the examples at the end of each chapter in the textbook. An occurrence of something. Another instance occurred yesterday. Clarify by giving an example of. An item of information that is typical of a class or group. An organization regarded as part of a larger social group. The coach said the offensive unit did a good job. Any division of quantity accepted as a standard of measurement or exchange. The dollar is the United States unit of currency. An assemblage of parts that is regarded as a single entity. The team is a unit. A single undivided natural thing occurring in the composition of something else. Units of nucleic acids. An individual or group or structure or other entity regarded as a structural or functional constituent of a whole. Reduced the number of units and installations. A single undivided whole. An idea is not a unit that can be moved from one brain to another. Any division of quantity accepted as a standard of measurement or exchange.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.